On the night of my graduation, my parents threw my belongings onto the front porch and said, "From now on, pay your own way." My father sold my car. My mother emptied my college fund. My sister laughed as she slammed the front door and said, "Let's see how long that degree keeps you alive." I didn't say a word. I picked up my suitcase. 3 weeks later, my attorney sent the legal documents that froze their house, their business, and an $80,000 family trust account. Now my sister was calling me 45 times a day, screaming, "How did you freeze everything we own?" My name is Emma Reed. I'm 24 years old. I had just graduated with a degree in accounting, and I honestly believed graduation was going to be the beginning of a new life. My father, Robert Reed, was 52. He owned a custom cabinet business. To him, every disagreement was a personal insult. My mother, Diane, was 50. She always spoke softly even when she was saying something cruel. Her favorite line was, "We're only doing what's best for the family." My older sister, Madison, was 28. She had always been the favorite. Somehow every mistake she made was forgiven before anyone even talked about it. Then there was my Aunt Claire, a retired paralegal who rarely spoke unless she had something important to say. When she did speak, people listened. After the graduation ceremony ended, I looked around the arena searching for my family. They weren't there. The only thing waiting for me was a text from Mom. "Come home. We need to talk." I ordered an Uber and headed home. The moment I stepped out of the car, I froze. Everything I owned was sitting on the front porch. 2 suitcases. 3 cardboard boxes. A laundry basket. My framed diploma was resting on top like some kind of cruel decoration. Dad stood in the doorway. "What is all this?" I asked. He looked straight at me. "Your graduation gift. Time to pay your own way." Madison stood behind him laughing. "My car?" I asked. "Where's my car?" "I sold it," Dad answered without any emotion. "That was my car. The title was in my name. I made every payment. Doesn't matter." I looked at Mom. "You let him do this?" She folded her hands together. "We think it's time for you to become independent. Tonight. On the night I graduate. There isn't a better time." I took a slow breath. "Fine. Then transfer my college fund to me. I'll get an apartment." Mom looked at Dad. Dad answered instead. "It's gone." I stared at him. "What do you mean it's gone?" "We used it. My grandmother created that account for my education." Madison shrugged. "You got scholarships. We needed the money." "We?" Nobody answered. "You spent my college fund without asking me?" Dad folded his arms. "We're your parents." I looked around the porch one last time. Then I called my best friend Olivia. "Can I stay with you tonight?" She didn't ask a single question. "Absolutely." The next morning my phone was full of messages. "Dad, pick up the rest of your boxes." "Mom, we love you. This is for your own good." "Madison, don't embarrass the family." I ignored every one of them. Instead I went straight to the bank. My account had been closed. Balance, $0. The branch manager printed the records for me. The account had actually been closed 6 months earlier. Withdrawal amount, $52,418. Transferred to Reed Holdings LLC. "What is Reed Holdings?" I asked. "I'm only authorized to provide the account records," she replied. I left with a folder full of statements. Olivia spread everything across her kitchen table. I thought they said they used it for Dad's business. So did I. We searched the Secretary of State's business records online. Reed Holdings LLC. Owners: Robert Reed, Diane Reed, Madison Cole, Cal Cole. My name wasn't anywhere. Then we checked the property records. The company had used my college fund to make the down payment on Madison's rental house. I had believed they stole my money to save the business. Instead, they used it to buy real estate for my sister. That was the first shock. I immediately called Aunt Claire. She showed up 2 hours later carrying a thick gray folder. "This belonged to your grandmother," she said. Inside were trust documents. Years earlier, my grandmother had loaned money to my parents so Dad could expand his business. The agreement protected 3 major assets: the family home, the business, an $80,000 reserve account. Most importantly, both Madison and I were listed as equal beneficiaries. Aunt Claire slid another page toward me. It clearly stated, Any sale, refinancing, or transfer requires written approval from both daughters after age 21. I looked up. They did all of this without my permission? If these documents are accurate, Aunt Claire said, they had no legal authority. Then I noticed something else. My signature appeared on one of the authorization pages. It looked like mine, but it wasn't. Someone had forged it. The next day I met with trust attorney Daniel Mercer. He carefully reviewed every document. The trust agreement, the bank statements, the forged signature, the paperwork for the sale of my car. Finally, he leaned back in his chair. You have a very strong case. What can we do? We asked the court for an emergency asset freeze. The house. Yes. The business. Yes. The family account? Yes. I looked at him. I don't want revenge. What do you want? I want the truth. And I want everything accounted for. He nodded. That's exactly how we'll approach this. For 3 weeks we gathered evidence. I stayed completely silent. Dad kept texting. Come home. Mom wrote. We're worried about you. Madison even shared the video she recorded of me standing on the porch after they threw me out. He captioned it. Tough love. My cousin Brooke secretly sent me the recording. In the video Dad laughed and said, she'll come crawling back within a week. He was wrong. 3 weeks later Daniel filed an emergency petition. At 9 o'clock on Thursday morning, the court approved a temporary freeze. The family home. Dad's business accounts. The $80,000 reserve account. Reed Holdings. Everything stopped. At 9:20 my phone rang. That. I ignored it. Mom called. Ignored. Then Madison. And again. By lunchtime she had called 45 times. Finally I answered. How did you freeze everything we own? She screamed. Talk to your lawyer. You shut down Dad's business. No. The court did. Our house is frozen. Read the trust agreement. She suddenly became quiet. Who told you about it? The documents did. Dad grabbed the phone. You're going to remove that order today. No. This is family business. You stopped treating me like family the night you threw me out. You're overreacting. You sold my car. You took my college fund. You threw me out of the house. All I did was file paperwork. Silence. Then Mom spoke. Please. I asked one question. Who transferred my college fund? I did. Who signed my name? She never answered. He didn't have to. 2 days later we met for mediation. That. Madison. Kyle. Their attorneys. Daniel sat beside me. He placed the bank records on the conference table. The money trail was impossible to ignore. My college fund had gone into Reed Holdings. From there the money paid for Madison's rental house. Closing cost. Furniture. Everything. Madison slowly turned toward Kyle. You told me the money went into Dad's business. Kyle looked away. Then Daniel produced another set of financial records. Kyle had quietly transferred thousands more from company accounts into cryptocurrency investments and his failed startup. Madison stared at him. You lied to me? Kyle didn't answer. Dad lowered his eyes. That was the second twist. The money hadn't just benefited Madison. Kyle had been draining the entire company. And Dad had known about it. Daniel placed one last email on the table. It had been sent by Dad. Move the money before Emma graduates. Once she asks for the trust documents we'll have a problem. Nobody said a word. I looked directly at Dad. You knew. He finally spoke. I was protecting the business. With Kyle's crypto investments? Kyle stood up. This is getting ridiculous. The mediator calmly told him to sit back down. Madison grabbed his arm. You knew. We were going to fix it. I'd heard that excuse before. We were going to fix it. We were going to pay you back. Always later. Never now. The final settlement required them to repay my college fund with interest. I received the money from the sale of my car. My legal share of the $80,000 trust account was immediately separated. Reed Holdings was dissolved. The business was ordered to undergo a forensic audit. The forgery investigation continued separately. Dad signed the agreement without looking at me. You destroyed this family. I answered calmly. No. I just read the paperwork. Within weeks Madison left Kyle. The audit uncovered even more financial misconduct. Dad eventually sold the business. My parents lost the larger house and moved into a small condo. Mom mailed me 2 letters. I never answered either one. 1 year later, I became a certified public accountant. I accepted a job with a forensic accounting firm. Every day I investigate forged signatures, hidden transfers, fake invoices, and financial fraud. Ironically, I had been doing that work for free in my father's office for years. I eventually bought my own condo. I bought another car. This time the title was in my name alone. My graduation diploma still hangs in my office. The same diploma that sat on my parents' porch the night they threw me away. And that video Madison thought would humiliate me? It became evidence in court. My family believed I would stay quiet forever. I did stay quiet. For exactly 3 weeks. Then I let the paperwork speak for me. And everything they thought they owned came to a stop. If this story kept you with me until the very end, I'd truly appreciate your support. Please take a second to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next story. Thank you so much for watching, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below.